Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead of them and their companies. I'm your host, Olivia Sammons, and in each episode, we'll uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, I'm very excited to be joined by Nat van Zee, a clarity coach and founder of VanZee Being, a coaching practice dedicated to helping people cut through noise, reconnect with themselves, and make grounded, confident decisions in both life and business. Through VanZee Being, Nat supports individuals who feel stuck, overwhelmed, or disconnected, guiding them back to clarity through presence, self-awareness, and honest reflection. Her work creates space for people to slow down, listen inward, and move forward with intention rather than pressure. Nat, welcome to Founders Future. Thank you so much for joining me today. Such a pleasure to have you here.
Well, thank you for having me.
I'm excited to dive in and learn more about your journey. So, with all of my guests, I do actually like to start at the beginning. So if you don't mind briefly taking me back to what it was you was doing before you started up VanZee Being, and then from there, what was the motivation behind it?
Yeah, so I have a unique journey where I moved from politics into luxury fashion, beauty, well-being. I was a speaker in academia, and throughout this journey, I had many life experiences. I had a breakup, I broke my back, and I had a breakdown. And the breakdown happened in 2012 when my agent called me, and I just done like a big advertising campaign, and there'd been some feedback. And it wasn't about my work, it was actually about my personality. And I am Dutch, I'm very open and straightforward and too authentic. And that really hit me because I didn't know it at the time, but I was raised as a people pleaser and a perfectionist. So I worked really hard to get where I was, and I was doing all the best shows, all the best brands, the magazines, everything. And that comment, I just fell apart. And that started a big journey for me in self-reflection. At first, I was really blaming, my industry, the feedback. And then I got to this point where I was like, I feel so down and so depressed for the first time in my life. If I keep this narrative in my head going, I will stay this way. I had that awareness. And that was the catalyst for me to actually realize that maybe I need to change my perspective. So I started to become aware that I'm an empath and that I'm really impacted by the energy around me. And at the time, I was pretty hedonistic, I loved going to raves, and I started to become aware of the impact of our lifestyle. So I changed to like natural and organic. I reduced my drinking. I became very intentional about what information I accepted into my mind, and also who I was spending time with. Because as an empath, and maybe not everybody's aware of it, but you feel the world around you. You are impacted by the emotions of the people you spend time with. So I heard this phrase, you are the sum of the 5 people closest to you. So I started to shift and really change my social circle. Yeah. I was aware that, alcohol and, all substances can really impact your mood. So I started to shift away, being really like intentional what I allowed to myself to eat and to drink. And at the time I was working as a makeup artist in fashion, and I learned about the toxins in the beauty products and how they affect not only our skin, but our hormones. They might be carcinogens in there, and the impact on the environment. So the microplastics going into the the sea life, the waterways, and impacting our environment. So I became very passionate about that. And that was my journey, my journey then into like clean beauty entrepreneurship. So I did that for 10 years. I was like a speaker on clean living. I was invited by academia to speak there, and I was so passionate about it, and I was living the life. And then I started to see like people that had like clean living lifestyles that were getting ill. And I saw maybe like people that lived long, healthy lives that, maybe had a smoke and a drink and weren't living vegan. And I was like, okay, there is a disconnect here. And that really got me to explore the connection between body, mind, and spirit. And I started to see the impact of trauma. I started to see how actually our energy and our inherited beliefs and generational stuff is impacting us. And then in 2019, I had a profound spiritual experience that really shifted my awareness and my consciousness and helped me understand there is more than what we see. There is more than our logic. Because our society, we have really glamorized the intellect. As Einstein would say, this is meant to be the servant. And we have actually dismissed what indigenous societies and, many ancient wisdoms have known, that we are all interconnected. We are way more than just this body, and we now see many you have quantum physics, you have people that have near-death experiences that all just report the same thing, that we are consciousness. So that shifted me on the journey that I do now. Initially, I was trained in family constellations, past life regression. I help people connect to past lives, to, profound experience that maybe some people go and have ayahuasca for, but you have actually direct access. So, and that then sent me trauma clients my way. So I started to see women. I had one particular woman who came to me who was in her 30s. She was really depressed, anxious. She had panic attacks. She was on medication, and she tried everything. Talk therapy, antidepressants, EMDR, and she didn't know what was wrong with her, so she couldn't work on it. And she really wanted to have a relationship, but couldn't trust anyone. Yeah. And when she had my first session with me, so I was doing hypnotherapy with her. It was about 3 hours. She went to an early child memory where she'd been sexually abused. And that explained why she didn't trust anyone. So that after that session, we also cleared some energy. She then had a rapid improvement. Her anxiety reduced, her depression reduced, her back pain went. Wow. And we worked together for 6 months. And in that time period, she learned to be with her inner part, so her inner child, learned to reparent that part, and create real good awareness of, her boundaries, speaking up for herself, and who she could trust and not trust. And at the end of the work that we did together, she actually found a partner. And they have been together for years now. She's off antidepressants, and that is an illustration of, the sort of work that I do, where she didn't know what was the matter with her, but her subconscious, which is the 95% of your mind, holds all our experiences. So 5% is our logic mind, our rational mind, which you can access through talking. But 95% is the subconscious, which you can access through visualization, or like the dream state, or this is kind of generally what I specialize in. So it's really about the subconscious, the under the hood, what drives our automatic behavior, thoughts, and beliefs. So beliefs can be inherited by our society, like a really common one that absolutely sabotages life and business is I am not enough. So I typically work with business entrepreneurs or investors or philanthropists who have maybe scaled like 7 to 9 figures, or they are part of a bigger organization, or they are a thought leader. Yeah. And what they typically get to is that what has got them so far won't actually help them go further, because they have learned habits such as overachieving or over responsibility, where they are unable to delegate well, where they maybe don't trust themselves. Even despite the huge success they've had, there's still often a very inner belief that I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, they are going to find me out. And that belief is actually structural in our society. Because there's a fascinating study by George Land, actually invented for NASA, where they were interested in, who are the most innovative engineers? What are their what's important for them? So they created this test, and they realized it was so simple. They gave it to something like, can't remember the exact numbers, 180 children. And they realized that the first children between 0 and 5, 98% were considered to be a genius, a creative genius. As they went through school, that number diminished. They gave the same test to 280,000 adults, and only 2% were seen as creative genius. So what happens in that time between 5 and adults is we have certain systems like education, like the media, which gives us different information, which actually gives us programs, because we know that the mind is being programmed in the womb by our ancestors, by our culture. And if you are constantly being bombarded with the message that your power is not within you, it is actually, outside of you, then you start to believe, oh, I'm not enough. But you're not born that way. So ultimately, I help people deprogram and get back to that younger part of them that knows they are a creative genius. And that is through a variation of, so my programs are very bespoke. I work typically to start with in a 6-month program. And I have a conversation initially with somebody that reaches out to find out, where are they at? Yeah. Are they at burnout? Are they, are they not scaling? And then find out, where do they want to go to, and what are the obstacles in between? And then I create a process which is completely tailored to them. So if they are in an anxious state or like burnout, it's first nervous system regulation. It's creating inner safety. Then it's actually going to the aspects that hold them back. So I call this like clearing out the junk, like you do with like an operating system. So it's actually going to core memories where they learned maybe the origin of people pleasing, or it might be a limiting belief, like I need to prove my worth, or I need to, whatever it is. So we systematically go from each memory to whatever is blocking them, through subconscious reprogramming, through self-forgiveness. The process is generally first creating awareness. So they are learning what is actually influencing them. Then it's self-acceptance, and then it's self-expression. So the self-expression part is actually the most, well, they're all important, but as a child, often people learn to take on certain identity, like a people pleaser or a caregiver, to fit in, to be loved, or to be validated. And most of the people I work with are high achievers. So they're running this program that I must prove myself. And, you know, and then when they've proven themselves, they've got the wealth, they've got the status, they've got the partner, they've got the house, then they actually feel something is missing. Because it was never about the external stuff. Yeah. It was actually the you know, their heart was like wanting to get self-love, self-validation, self-acceptance. So what I help my clients with is to give that directly to themselves. So that could also be through IFS, which is internal family system, which is connecting to the parts within us that we feel, right? It could be the inner critic, it could be a pain, it could be many different things. And instead of like avoiding that, we have a dialogue with that part.
Yeah.
And that part, it could be brain fog, might say, well, the reason I'm here is because you're not listening to your body. You're giving everyone else your time. And if you just listen to me, then I wouldn't need to be there. That's actually an example of one of my clients that had burnout. Yeah. So it's learning to listen to our own intelligence. And once we start doing that, the confusion goes, the inner conflict goes, because what that is doing, we are actually reorganizing your inner landscape like a business. So if you think you have like disgruntled employees, what do? You have like an open conversation with them. You do conflict management. You see if you can change the roles. That is what I do with my clients. And that awareness actually then puts them into their own inner genius, their own self. So they're not leading from their younger selves, the hurt parts. Because what most people don't know is that whenever you are triggered, or whenever there is a conflict or some kind of challenge or crisis, that is an opportunity for you to make change within yourself. Because everything that's happening in your world, in your relationship or business is a reflection of what's happening within. And so that is a long answer to your question, but that is kind of the goals that I help people with. Is like, you know, if they feel disempowered within themselves, or feel like they've lost meaning, then I help them kind of clear out all the programs that are like actually causing the malfunction. They are the virus within the system. Clear that out, and then naturally, when you do that, your natural self is confident. It's got clarity. It knows its purpose, and that is what I love about what I do.
I love that. And I think you mentioned the word awareness throughout that conversation, so that is generally the key to a lot of things. And it may not be awareness to yourself or awareness to your purpose, but it's looking within and then realizing the world that is around you is not the purpose of what you're looking for. It's the awareness of the state that society's putting on us to, as you say, follow different tangents, maybe go on a place, but what you want to do is look within yourself and really feel that connection between you and make sure it's aligned moving forward.
Yeah, and it's a really important thing, because once you have awareness not only of yourself, but you start to see also how that impacts the dynamic with the people you work with.
Yeah.
Because when you learn to acknowledge that this is not personal, this is an invitation to maybe change it, you can actually start to create inner resilience, like emotional resilience. And instead of reacting from that pain or that anger, you can be aware, oh, part of me is anxious or part of me is angry. And then you like with children, you acknowledge it, you say, hi, I see you, it's okay, I've got this. And then you step into your self-leadership and you respond from a calm place, and then you have a very different conversation with maybe your business partner or a client, because they are feeling your emotional, your energy, right? And everybody responds to that. Yeah. So when you are able to master your emotions and your energy from a place of compassion and self-awareness, everything shifts.
Yeah, and it's such a big thing. And I feel like within business, especially as you're taking the holistic approach, looking into your body, into what you're putting into your body, what you're putting out of your body, going within yourself and finding that is only going to be productive for everybody else moving forward when you can see your vision. And Nat, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your incredible journey and insight. I feel like we breezed through the time, so really, really appreciate your time here. Where can our listeners reach out to work with you, connect with you, and just find out more about what it's like to work with you as well?
Yeah, so well, if you Google Nat van Zee, you'll find me, or you can go to my website, VanZee Being. That's VanZee Being, as in well-being.
Love it.
And thank you so much for your time.
Beautiful. No, thank you. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to go and check out Nat, and do not forget to subscribe to Founders Future by wherever you listen to your favourite podcasts. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with one of our team and discover how we went from $0 to $30 million per year in less than 3 years. But until then, keep on climbing, and we will see you on the next one.